Welcome back to Cigar Time, your ever so friendly show all about premium cigars.
How many years have we been doing this?
I don't know, it seems like way too long.
I think
8 years?
2013. Yeah, I think so.
No, it's not 13.
We started the radio show.
Oh, the radio show.
In 13.
Yeah, so it's 8 years.
And we're still ever so friendly.
Yeah.
Well, at least to the people.
Well, we pretend.
after the show stops, we start fighting.
Moose didn't get a cigar. Your cigar was here.
Oh, my God. Who stole Moose's cigar?
Somebody
I think
has
it's on
Moose's
top of
cigar.
the microwave.
Oh, here,
Is
toss
that,
it.
wait a second, that's not
This
the...
one's already cut. Do you have the other one?
Oh,
Oh, do you use the V-cut, Moose?
we're actually
Doesn't
rolling
matter.
here. We're actually shooting a show right now. I just want to let everybody
Yeah.
kind of know that.
From the outfield.
This is how genuine this show is.
Yeah,
see,
right?
there's no
This
stopping
is
us.
live
No
TV.
stopping us. Yeah. Everybody have a good week?
Live on tape. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You notice
Isn't
it's getting-
somebody celebrating a birthday?
Yeah, my daughter and my brother.
There you go.
The 29th, October 29th, yeah.
Yeah, that was like last
Last
week or
week,
two,
yeah.
something like that.
Something like that.
Anyway, this is shot live in front of a dead audience. Or is it dead in front of a live audience? Something like that.
Something like that.
I always get them mixed up. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And what are we doing today, Mr. Showrunner?
We are
Can
doing
we light our cigars?
We can.
Oh,
We
oh.
are
thank
smoking
goodness.
the CAO Cameroon, Anniversary Cameroon. It's new packaging, and we have great deals on this.
Always have great deals on these.
Yeah, on this cigar. I think it retails for
No, that
eight-
can't be talking prices.
8 something,
Yeah.
but we have a great price on it. So we
Much
can't-
lower
we
than 8
can't-
something.
Much lower than $8 per cigar.
But we've always, for years, we featured this cigar. It is a kind of like an old standby that often gets overlooked because Cameroon, for some reason, some people are not willing to try Cameroon. I don't know why, because it's a great flavor. But
A lot of companies don't make Cameroon
That's true,
because
too.
it's so expensive.
yeah, it's
It's
very
expensive
fragile to
and
work
there's
with,
not
yeah.
all that much of it.
no.
And, you know, a lot of people don't realize Cameroon comes from Cameroon. It's the only African tobacco that's used typically in any cigar.
Except for the stuff that's grown in Wisconsin. They plant it in between the cheese plants.
No, they plant it between the corn that they use to feed the cows that make
Get
the
the cheese.
Cheese plants.
Is that what?
Really?
Is that what puts out all the emissions? The cow, whatever they want to call that,
Methane gas.
methane gas or something.
Yes. And all the tree huggers don't like
I
it.
actually used to, many years ago, sell life insurance door to door to farmers in Wisconsin.
Wow.
And the only way you can do that is to walk through their cornfields with them and chew on some of their tobacco, which is most
Yeah,
of what they
yeah.
grow is for chewing tobacco
Yeah,
anyway. So you have to tell them how sweet it is and how wonderful it is, and then they'll listen to you.
And then after you leave, throw up.
Your resume must be like 3 inches thick of jobs you used to have.
I have tried things. I'm an experimenter.
Okay.
I've tried many things, and 2 of them stuck lifelong.
And his
Advertising
resume is
alone.
easy because if you take out the 15 years at Leavenworth, it isn't a hard resume to fill. I should talk.
And 13 years of it is right here.
In cigars?
Yes.
You shower occasionally,
13
right?
years, really?
13,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we got a lot of years on this panel.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel. I guess collectively 13, 40, 60.
20.
We've got like
And
more than
so
75 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I
we
must be
could-
paying
we
you
could
guys too
double-
much.
We could double that by bringing John on.
Yeah.
True.
Art,
That's a good
Art,
point.
we love our job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell the enthusiasm. If you loved it anymore, you'd be snoring.
Yes.
Believe me, we don't write these gags. We just make them up as we go along.
As the audience
Okay.
can tell.
Who wants to take? I mean, you know something? I haven't smoked one of these, I admit, in a very, very long time. I mean, a really long time. And I'd forgotten how good they really are.
When I went to Europe, I could smoke anything I wanted. I mean, I could smoke Cuban cigars and stuff. I didn't smoke any cigars when I was over there. But when I came back, this was the first cigar I smoked.
Oh, you always like Cameroon.
I love this cigar. I really do.
It's a very pleasant cigar. I mean, You know, it's not going to bite your head off, but it is going to give you a lot of taste. The draw is always consistent and easy. Yeah, it's an overlooked cigar, except it isn't, because we do sell a ton of them.
Because of the price.
Yeah.
We sell them mostly by the box,
Yeah.
not individually.
Speaking of the box, for those of you that have seen this cigar in the past, it used to come in a matte gold colored box. They've completely redesigned the outside.
Right.
I don't know why.
I don't either,
I don't-
especially because it looks like a Christmas.
It doesn't
Yeah,
like Christmas.
I think somebody at General just got tired of looking at the old box and said, all right, we got all these $200,000 wonder kinds in the marketing department. Let's redesign the box.
Yeah.
Let's have them do something.
And let's call it new CAO instead of old CAO. Oh, that Coke did that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I get them mixed up sometimes.
Yeah, let's change something that's been very successful for
Yeah,
us.
yeah, let's change it up. I don't get
At
it.
least they didn't change
So
the
for
cigar.
those of you
Yeah.
that have not tried a Cameroon or didn't realize that you were trying a Cameroon, the defining flavor characteristic of a Cameroon wrapper is a very mild white pepper spice. But it's really
Mild,
mild,
yeah.
and it's not even black pepper or red pepper, it's white pepper. And that's great because it really lets the character of the filler blend come through, but it contributes something really special to that flavor.
Well put. Well, let's, I guess we can give our first impressions. Then you can regale us of stories of your trips to Cameroon and
Well,
living amongst the native people and
Okay.
and you know, going down the Shmegegi River and you know in your,
well, I can
in
tell
your
you
rowboat.
some interesting history about Cameroon tobacco and how it's been grown and how it's grown now, and that's undergone some very major changes over the last 40 years.
And we know the family that grows most of it, the Mirafel family.
Mira.
Yeah. Moose, your first impressions.
I'm pretty much in the same boat as you guys. I haven't smoked this in a long time. And as Paul stated, the white pepper is there.
Yeah, it's the predominant taste.
Yeah, and very nice. Goes good with a cup of coffee, too.
Does it?
It's burning nice. It's well made. I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah. They always. I always remember this cigar for a nice, easy draw. You know, it's just a very pleasant draw. Rob.
Despite being box pressed.
Yeah, it's despite
It
being
is
box
box
pressed.
pressed, yeah. It's what's there to say. It's you get a lot of white pepper, but it is subtle.
Yeah, it's not overpowering.
Yeah, and again, I haven't smoked one as much as I like the cigar. I haven't smoked one in a long time. So, but right now the white pepper is the predominant driving force in the cigar.
Paul.
Well, of course, I'm getting the white pepper, but there's an interesting creaminess underneath that
Yeah.
that I think is really pleasant, especially in the morning.
I get the white pepper, but it's not only subtle. There's a slightly sweet taint to it. I mean, it's hard for me, like coats the front of the tongue, and it's pleasant on the retrohale, and it's a very consistent burn, and like I said, a very easy draw. It's actually, especially at the prices we sell them at,
Yeah.
it's a real bargain.
By the
It's a
box,
nice
yeah,
size.
absolutely. Oh, it's
yeah,
a great
I mean,
size.
it's again, it's an easily overlooked cigar, but yet, because I think we keep the prices down on this,
Yeah.
I think we sell a great deal of them.
Yeah.
But it's an older cigar. It's been around for a while. The Anniversary series that comes in Maduro and Cameroon. They make it in any other?
Gold.
No, but that's not the anniversary series.
Yeah, it's not
though.
the Anniversary. That's
No,
the
just
gold.
Maduro and Cameroon.
Cameroon, yeah, that's what I thought. And the Cameroon by far is the much bigger seller, and I think actually my taste the better cigar.
Well,
Better
the
tasting.
Maduro is good too.
Yeah,
though.
but
I
this
mean,
to me, and I love Maduro, but
Yeah.
this has a better taste.
You know that 25 years ago,
I am
the
not that
CAO Maduro, the Anniversary Maduro, was rolled by Nick Perdomo.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Weren't these originally done by Perdomo too? The Cameroons
I don't know about the Cameroon.
No, I don't think so.
No, I
The
know the Maduro was, yeah.
or Tarano? Maybe Toronto.
Maybe Toronto.
That could be.
Because
Maybe
they've
Toronto,
done
yeah.
some
Yeah.
good work with Cameroon.
Yes,
Right,
they have.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame what happened to those.
Yeah.
Oh, well. All right, Paul.
So interestingly, Cameroon has been growing tobacco for a long, long time, going all the way back to when it was a colony of France. And the French government eventually monopolized the entire tobacco industry. And they took over, it used to all get sold in auctions. And they took over that process, and they were skewing the auctions and messing with the prices and the bids, and they virtually destroyed the Cameroon tobacco industry because they had no quality control at all. The Mir Apfel family, and I forget what that name means, but it has something to do with apples. But the original members of the family that got involved in this was considered the Johnny Appleseed of African tobacco, because what they did is they traveled all over Cameroon, hooking up with individual little villages that had micro plantations and setting them up to be able to grow Cameroon wrapper, and then consolidating all of that tobacco and controlling it. So quality control went way up, production went way up, and the wrapper has come back really strong over time. And a lot of the major companies use it in different things. So, you have, of course, the Fuentes use a lot of it on their Hemingway line. But Rocky Patel makes a Cameroon. And this is sort of, to me at least, the CAO is sort of the standard bearer for a straightforward, well-blended Cameroon.
Partagas does it too.
Yeah,
don't
Partagas-
Yes, they do.
Generally.
Yeah, Partagas has been using Cameroon
Cameroon
forever.
for a long
Yeah,
time,
a long
yeah.
time.
Almost forever.
Why is it that Cameroon plants only grow in that one area of Africa? Is it the rainfall? Is it the what? Why is Cameroon, or at least not commercially that I know of, grown anywhere else?
There hasn't, although there's more demand than Cameroon can fill, there hasn't been enough to get other countries in the boat. And I think actually for an economically depressed continent like Africa, planting Cameroon in other countries would be a good way to generate some revenue.
You would think. You would think.
Well, didn't you say that most people can't use crossbreed Cameroon seeds to grow in other soils? I mean, I know you did it, but it took you forever to do it.
It's not that it doesn't grow easily in other soils. It does. In fact, one of the most popular wrappers in the industry, which is Ecuadorian Sumatra, is actually a crossbreed between Indonesian Sumatra and Cameroon seeds. And that was first created all the way back in the 1940s in Ecuador. That's when Ecuadorian Sumatra got its start. But the reason it took me so long to develop a Cameroon pure was I wanted one that was oilier and thicker. And that took 8 years of breeding.
Wow.
And since I'm not a genetic engineer, I had to do it the old-fashioned way, which was plant a small area on the farm in Cameroon, select the plants that had the oiliest and thickest leaves, let those plants go to seed, get rid of the rest of them, and replant those seeds.
Oh, wow.
And do it again.
That's a tedious.
And 3 times a year for 8 years is what it took me to come up with a pure Ecuadorian Cameroon that was thick, oily, and still tasted like Cameroon.
Wow.
Well, that's one of the knocks on Cameroon, how fragile they are.
It's fragile. It tends to be a little toothy, which isn't a bad thing at
No,
all.
no.
But it's thin, and it's not an oily wrapper,
Right.
No.
which is why the flavor profile is subtle.
Right.
It's almost as neutral as Connecticut, but not quite.
That has more taste than Connecticut does.
But it's
in my
neutral.
opinion.
It balances with
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
More people are using Cameroon for binders.
Well, that's because
Yeah.
it's so much cheaper,
Yeah.
but you get the flavor.
Yeah.
But because it's so fragile, it doesn't
It's not
control
an
the
ideal
burn. Yeah,
binder.
no. You have to use another one with it.
Well, and a lot of people that use Cameroon as a binder do a double binder
Right.
and they add something else.
Right.
Interesting. Great smoke, though.
Mm-hmm.
Again, greatly overlooked.
Yeah.
Even we overlook it. We
Yeah.
haven't smoked them in a long time.
I don't remember the last time
I
smoked
mean
one of
neither.
these.
And this is one of our more popular box buys. People
Yes.
buy a ton of this stuff.
Well, it's because of the price.
Yeah, I guess so. Now, we talked about, you growing it and crossbreeding it, getting it more hardy and oily and all that. Now, you used it, a lot of times we use terms amongst ourselves and we just assume everybody knows what we're talking about.
Right.
You use the word toothy. Why don't you
the-
explain what that means?
For those of you that don't know, tooth refers to what you sometimes see on a wrapper like little bumps all over it. And some of that is concentrated oil on the surface of the leaf. And some of it is just the nature of the tobacco itself, that it just has these bumps on it. And yeah, it doesn't signify anything one way or the other. It's just something to observe. And some people really like a toothy wrapper. Just,
Sometimes easier to hold on to.
it won't slip out between your fingers. But what it doesn't mean is that the flavor has bite.
Nah.
Because
No,
it does not have
no.
bite.
Not at all.
That's what I think some people might have misunderstood because we toss that term around, toothy, this, what a veiny, this, that, and the other thing.
No, actually, one of the good things about Cameroon is that it's not
Not veiny, no.
which makes it good for
Pretty
a wrapper.
smooth wrapper.
Yeah.
Now, on the fragile side, we have Cameroon. Just for education purposes, what would you say is the extreme of the Cameroon as far as a wrapper is concerned?
The extreme.
In other words, if the Cameroon wrapper is a bit fragile, and we all know it is, what is the opposite of that? The strength, it's strong.
You mean physically?
Yeah.
Physically robust.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't exist in Cameroon except
No. I don't mean Cameroon. I mean in any wrapper.
it's got to be Corojo.
Okay. Why?
Corojo is thick. It's very oily and it's physically hardy. And it was bred that way originally in Cuba. That was the intent.
For what reason?
Crop output.
Well, also, wasn't that bred to retard blue mold?
No, that
Which
was
one?
Havana 2000.
Ah, 2000. Yep, you're right. Sorry.
That's okay. The fragility of Cameroon is actually almost mind-boggling to me. If it's not treated properly, you could look at it cross-eyed and it would crack.
Crack, yeah.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if it's fermented properly, and in the case of Cameroon, that's a very delicate process. But if it's fermented carefully, it won't be quite as fragile. So you get to enjoy it without it.
When they
Blowing up.
ferment them, do they cut back the heat and cut back the time?
Yes, what they do is they break the bales more frequently. So the target temperature is lower.
Lower, yeah.
Because when you're fermenting big pilons of tobacco, which are 4 feet wide and 5 feet tall and maybe 25 feet long,
Right.
when you're doing that, you stick a big thermometer into the whole thing, and you stop the fermentation every time it reaches whatever target you've set for the
Right.
temperature inside the bale. Cameron, if you do it longer and at a lower temperature, it will be less fragile. Of course, that means it will cost more money because that's more labor intensive.
Right.
Stopping fermentation isn't as simple as it sounds. You have to take the whole pilon apart, one hand of tobacco at a time. You have to shake them out. You have to spray them with water or Bethune, although they don't use Bethune on Cameroon at all.
No, I could imagine why not.
And you could be talking about thousands of hands of tobacco in one pilon.
Yeah.
So stopping that periodically is a big job. And time and labor are what make tobacco expensive.
What's the yield of Cameroon tobacco, would you say, as
It's-
opposed to others?
Well, African Cameroon, the yield is low. You know, it's not really a great soil there for tobacco in general, which is why they haven't even tried growing any other seeds. They just grow what's sort of indigenous there, because it's been there for so long. I couldn't give you an exact number, but the yield is low. And you know, this plays against that theory that some tobacco people have, that harsher soil actually produces better tasting tobacco.
I've never thought that.
Well, you said that about Cuban tobacco. That's why you said it tastes so good.
There is a agricultural school of thought that harsher soil makes the plant want to defend itself, and the primary way that tobacco plants defend themselves is by producing more oil, which is where all the flavor comes from.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about really harsh, but less than ideal soil can sometimes produce better tasting tobacco. And in the case of Cameroon, the soil is not great. But it hasn't been played out either. There hasn't been tons of agriculture
right.
in those areas.
Now, what do they copy what most other countries do by planting other crops in between?
Yes, they do.
What-
They do beans.
Okay, in Africa they do the beans.
They can't afford chemical fertilizer.
Yeah,
and
on
the
those
beans add a
figures,
lot of
I figured.
nitrates to the soil.
That's it.
That's why they put the beans down.
They plant beans and then they plow them under instead of harvesting them, and they leave that. And as that decomposes into the soil, it serves as an excellent fertilizer.
I suppose they remove the franks first, right,
Before they plant the beans.
Oh my God.
Well, you know, the frank plant has a very high yield.
I'll bet.
You get a pound of foot-long hot dogs out of every plant.
Does Nathan's buy most of that crop?
Yeah.
Yes, they do. They have a monopoly
And
on
Oscar Mayer buys the backup?
Yeah.
Cameroon hot dogs.
Boy, I wonder what the fermentation would smell like in that.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere near it.
Oh, God.
There's a town in Wisconsin, about halfway between Chicago and Milwaukee. It's called Franksville. And it's where they grow massive amounts of cabbage, and it is the sauerkraut capital of America.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're on the interstate going from Chicago to Milwaukee,
You can smell
you
it.
can smell it about 20 miles out.
That's like in Kennett Square here. You can smell,
Smell
mushrooms,
smell
yes.
the mushrooms.
Or if you go to Gilroy, California, and that's about 50 miles out, that's the garlic capital of America.
Oh, yeah.
And you can smell that literally 50
Yeah.
miles away.
I have to go there then.
They have the Gilroy Garlic Festival every year. And at that festival, they have things like garlic chewing gum, garlic ice cream.
Garlic flavored cigars.
Yeah, well, thank God I haven't tried
Everything
one of those.
there tastes like garlic.
I've never had black garlic. What's the difference between? I know you're a chef.
It's more intense.
Is it really?
More
What's that?
Black garlic.
Black garlic.
And
Black
the,
garlic.
It's considered a delicacy. It's not
Yeah, I'm
very
not.
well.
It's like
No,
black
most people
truffles.
don't use
it's
it.
like truffles.
Yeah, black
It's like
truffles.
truffles, yeah.
But the giant, what do they call it, elephant garlic is less intense, I
Yes.
think.
Yes.
It's
Because
milder,
so-
but it's
because
huge.
because of the size. The flavor is very mild.
Yeah, but
I
nobody's
don't
tried
want that.
blending garlic in cigars.
How do we get the
Probably
garlic?
with
I don't know.
we're ranging
Talking
far and
about
wide
Cameroon
today.
tobacco, and next thing you know, we're talking about garlic.
we went from Africa to Kennett Square
Yeah.
for mushrooms
Hot
to
dogs.
California
To
for garlic.
Wisconsin.
See, this is like a travel show too.
Yeah, maybe you'll air us on the Travel Channel.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that would be a good show to do. Going all to the different Travel Channel
Ooh,
Do a-
remote.
remotes. Yeah.
Yeah, send us out on
Go to-
location.
yeah, go to Cameroon. We'll go to Ecuador and Honduras and Nicaragua.
Well, there's some
Dominican.
places you may not want to go so
Yeah,
fast.
If telephones were cameras back in the day, like they are now,
Yeah.
all of my journeys through Central and South America would have been on video. And that would have been some interesting video.
Yeah.
Except when they threw me in jail.
So
They
I
would
was
have
just gonna
taken my
say,
camera
would you
away.
take your camera when you went to all the jails you visited?
Reminds me of the time when I was standing outside a cigar factory in Cuba and taking pictures of accidentally a guided missile installation. I will never.
Oh, boy, they
forget.
must have loved that.
Luckily, nobody saw it except me. All right, so I guess it's time. I think we ought to review this cigar.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. Moose?
Well made, burns great, and the pepper is the dominant flavor, but I also pick up a little vanilla.
A little bit.
That's what I was reaching for before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a little bit of
Little
vanilla,
bit.
just a little bit, which helps with the creaminess that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Just great cigar. I give it a 9.75.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow. Throw the price in, and it's 10.2.
Oh, here we go with that argument.
Don't start. Seriously. Who's next?
Well, you're the youngest on the panel. Take it away.
Wow, I am. That's
Scary thought, huh?
That's a crazy thought.
That's frightening.
This is one of the best cigars, in my opinion, in the store. I get the vanilla through the retrohale, and the creaminess, it comes through. It smokes beautifully. The draw, like you were saying earlier, is absolutely fantastic. This is a first. I'm giving the cigar a 10.
Wow.
This is one of my favorite cigars in the store.
Good Lord, I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either.
I knew it was
It's
going to. I
Cameroon.
knew it was
First of
going
all,
to
it's
have a. I
Cameroon.
knew it was going to be good.
The only
but-
chance it would have is that it would be Cameroon for me to give it a 10, and it is a Cameroon. I absolutely love this cigar.
I think the only other cigar we gave a 10 to.
No, there's a lot of tea. used to give
Yeah,
out
but-
10s like they were candy.
Well, that was tea.
Especially
We love you, T.
Reserva Real, right?
Yeah.
Paul?
Well, flavor-wise, I'm just going to agree with what you two have said, but there are a couple of other things that jump out at me about this cigar. Like you said, the draw is terrific, but the smoke production is also terrific.
Abundant.
It really puts out a
Yeah.
lot of smoke, and I'm noticing what a slow burner it is.
Yeah.
Because I'm usually a very,
Power
very
hitter.
fast smoker.
Power hitter.
And I'm barely into it. And it's not for lack of trying.
Put a number on.
9.5.
All right, good. I can't disagree with anything here, and I'm going to go 9.75 just to be a little contrary. Just want to remind everybody, stay tuned for our Cigar Samplers show, and don't forget to go to cigarsamplers.com. They're open, doing business, got some great stuff you can't find anywhere else, and we want to thank you for watching. We want to thank you for your
Smoke
business
'em if
and
you got 'em.
patronizing. Smoke 'em
Ciao
if
for
you
now,
got 'em.
everybody.
Smoke often and smoke
Well,
happy.
Bye-bye for now.